let's go to Jim on line one. Jim, you'd like to speak with Madam Mayor.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. You know, this is a very important election coming up. A lot of state offices, and particularly in preparation for next year's election. Now, the city's always emphasized voting, and had get out the vote rallies, and emphasized registration, and worked hard to register all the residents in say the city of Gary to make sure that we've got the franchise. Everyone's got the franchise. I've not seen very much activity in our city regarding voter registration, and I was wondering if you would consider that to be a legitimate enterprise for the city, and important to governance, making sure that everyone is registered, and making sure everyone is encouraged to vote.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jim. Thanks for the question, Madam Mayor. I unfortunately had a little vote or a little bet, and I think I'm going to win. And I have 20% less on this upcoming race, which is sad. Sad to say that I feel that less than 20% of registered voters are going to come out. So if you really look at it, even if you get to 20%, that's really only 10% of the county, because only half the people are registered to vote. So 1 out of 10 people make the decisions. What can we do, not only in Gary, but this is systemic. This isn't just Gary. What do you do across the country to get people involved, especially the younger people that are?
You know, I had an opportunity to talk to the mayor of Duluth, Minnesota, Don Ness. They have, I believe it's an 81% turnout rate in elections. And I was trying to determine, certainly I don't think people in Minnesota are any more interested, or they believe that things are more important. I think what it is that people have become disillusioned with government and with the political process. And what Jim said is absolutely right. We have to emphasize registration. We have to emphasize voting. That is something that is typically done by the precinct organization, but it's something that I certainly plan to take on. He's correct in that we haven't spent the first 4 months of our administration sort of focused on that, and that's largely attributable to the fact that we've had to appoint a staff, we've had to address some issues at our sanitary district, at our housing authority, at other places. We're trying to make sure we have bus transportation in the city of Gary, and that does not always lend itself to doing all the things that you'd like to do. But one of my goals is to increase voter participation, to the point that I've really been trying to find some grants that will allow us to get folks on the street that will increase voter registration and ultimately increase voter participation. Because I think that it is really a travesty that people don't exercise the ballot. But I also think it's unfortunate that people are so disillusioned and disappointed by the political process that they don't believe that they have a stake. And so when I talk to folks, I really do try to emphasize why it matters, why it's important, and how they can impact the system simply by voting.
I agree with you, but I don't understand the logic of people that don't vote that are disillusioned. If I'm disillusioned, the way that I could change it is to go out and vote and put people that I want in.
And that's been my message.
by not voting, you're actually keeping the people that you don't want in. Anyway, so we both have 18-year-old daughters that are named Jordan.
Yes, we do.
And I had the conversation with my daughter actually last night about voting, and I am open. I mean, I'm on the Democratic governing boards. She knows that we're Democrats. But she's 18, and I feel that it's important. I explained to her a little bit about both parties, and was encouraged a little bit when she said she was going to pull the Dem ticket, but it's her first time, and I think that's important, and that's one of the things that my wife and I are excited about.
Well, we are extremely excited. Jordan and I had a conversation about a week ago, and she was saying, "Well, I'm not sure between this person and that person, or I think I might." And it was a bit different from the way that I'm going to vote. But the thing that I appreciate is that she is really thinking through this process. And if we can get our young people to do that at 18, then they will continue that throughout the course of their lives. And really, that 18 to 30-year-old group is the group that really does not participate like they should.
Like to see that happen. Let's go to the next phone call. We've got it is 8:24. We've got another 10 minutes with Madam Mayor. We're honored to have her on, and she's been doing, is it once a month, twice a month?
Yes, once a month.
Once a month, where she gets an opportunity to field your calls and let you know what's going on in her young tenure as the mayor. I guess it's not even mayor-elect. You're in your first year
as the mayor.
As the mayor.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I just have to say before we go to any further calls, so many people come up to me and say they're extremely excited about the energy that you bring, and that regardless if they live in Gary or outside, that they want to be a part of the solution with you. So I think that that's really awesome.
That is extremely heartening, encouraging. We are developing a sense of team in the city of Gary, and that team is not just Gary residents, it's not just Gary businesses, but it's all individuals and all entities that feel a sense of responsibility in seeing Gary move forward. And we call it Team Gary, and we welcome everyone to the team.
Let's go to Joe on line 6. Good morning, Joe. You're live with the Mayor of Gary.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Madam Mayor.
Good morning, sir.
There are two things. First one is my Sunday school class. I floated this idea a couple of years ago with Rudy, and he didn't like it too much. But I think he was getting too much flack from some of his employees. But my Sunday school class wanted to adopt one of your parks and them take care of the park, spruce it up, whatever needs to be done to it. Because if we get the parks looking better, then the kids are going to want to play in the parks instead of in the middle of the streets or, or whatever.
Madam Mayor, thanks a lot, Joe. The suggestion, and it's the same thing as like adopt a highway.
Sure.
Adopt a park. In other words, with this 1, 2, 3 cap that we have, obviously there's a lot more money to deal with this. Basically, it'd be a way of the parks getting cleaned up by, whether it be a business entity, whether it be the neighborhood entity, coming in and cleaning up and keeping in charge with it. I know you're a lawyer as well, and your lawyer is looking at me. You're always running into.
No, on April 23rd, we had our Adopt a Park meeting.
Okay.
Our first meeting.
All
the
right.
program is underway. If you're interested, call Mary Cassie at 881-1302.